It is hard to fathom the justification for passing the kinds of laws that would allow for a tragedy like this to happen. But here's the point. The reason we have gotten to this point in our world is because we have decided to disconnect ourselves from God. We don't want His ways. We don't want His word. We want to create our own version of reality.
From Living Word Church, you're listening to the Living the Word podcast, encouraging you to walk steadfastly in your Christian faith.
Struggling with mental illness is a fight that many people have every day. Approximately 44 million people fight the battle with mental illness every day in America. What would those numbers look like if we factored in the world population? Too much to comprehend for sure. We must have compassion on those who have for years walked the lonely road of mental illness. A story came out last week about a 28-year-old woman, Zoraya Terbeek, from the Netherlands. The title of the news story said, 28-year-old Dutch woman to be euthanized over mental illness after psychiatrist said it will never get any better. This was the actual headline. I could hardly believe it until I read the article. Terbeek is cited extensively in this news report. She talks about her ongoing fight with depression and anxiety. She says, quote, I was always very clear that if this doesn't get better, I can't do this anymore. The report says that despite being physically healthy, she plans to end her life due to her depression, autism, and borderline personality disorder. Terbeek said that she once had an ambition to become a psychiatrist, but that she was never able to pursue that career because of her illness. Now she says, at 28 years old, she is tired of living. And the Netherlands, her home country, has laws in place that will help her do just that. Her psychiatrist told her that there was no path forward for recovery. And because of euthanasia laws in the Netherlands, Terbeek can be assisted in her suicide. In 2001, the country became the first in the world to legalize euthanasia. Now, 8 have followed, including 10 U.S. states. Terbeek does have some fears about everything. She is quoted saying, I am a little afraid of dying because it is the ultimate unknown. That's the scary part. The question that I have that resonates in my heart after reading such a tragic story is this: how have we gotten to this point? What a terribly sad story of a young 28-year-old woman who is planning on committing suicide and who lives in a country that is willing to help her do it. This would be best described as a culture of death. It is hard to fathom the justification for passing the kinds of laws that would allow for a tragedy like this to happen. But here's the point. The reason we have gotten to this point in our world is because we have decided to disconnect ourselves from God. We don't want His ways. We don't want His word. We want to create our own version of reality. We want autonomy over our existence. We don't want God telling us how to live or how and when we should die. In short, as sinful human beings, we want to be God. And in this kind of self-absorbed, self-worshiping culture, we have lost our connection to the meaning of why we exist in the first place. With ourselves as the object of our worship, we have dethroned God as our creator. And as a result, the dignity and value that every life has been given by their creator has been lost. This is where a culture of death comes from. When we untether ourselves from the Word of God and from the foundation of meaning and purpose that arises from our knowledge of who we are and who created us, when we do that, we are willing to kill babies in mothers' wombs and healthy 28-year-old women. If you have ever questioned why ideas matter, if you have ever questioned why it is important for us as Christians to hold high the biblical worldview, may you be reminded today that ideas have consequences, and ungodly, demonic ideas have deadly consequences.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you would like to submit a potential question, a topic, or an idea for a future episode, or learn more about the Living the Word podcast, you can visit us at livingwordhoma.com. We would like to say thanks to all of you who subscribed, shared episodes, and left reviews. Living the Word podcast is a production of Living Word Church in Houma, Louisiana, under the leadership of Pastor Ben Buffkin. Our prayer is that you will remain faithful to living the Word.